Okay, number 2. Hi, Nick and Billy. I just started listening to your podcast after a fellow parent recommended it, the Matrix episode. That was a great one for me to start on. My 6-year-old daughter frequently experiences big feelings, and they are contagious in our house, especially to me. Thank you for the help you've provided. Like Nick, I'm trying to translate the episode into my own cheat sheet for specific steps I can take in the heat of these moments to help my daughter self-regulate instead of spiral, and help me to keep my cool. I've taken away your pointers about debriefing with my husband or writing it down, but I do that afterwards. How can I be more helpful in the moment? An example helps. In a few weeks, we'll have book week at school, and there will be a day where my daughter will dress up in costume. I have a hunch it's going to be a really good teaching opportunity, and I'd love some tips on how I can make it a positive learning experience, or at least handle it. That hunch is based on this morning. It is costume day to celebrate 100 days of prep and getting ready for school. This morning was very painful. As has happened before, it seems my daughter had an idea of how she'd look, and when it didn't play out precisely like that, she became increasingly distressed. She likes to be in control and is a confident kiddo. For example, she redid her costume, powder hair, face, paint wrinkles over and over, yelled at me that it was my fault she didn't look right, eventually slammed the bedroom door and shouted, "I'm not going." In the end, I went out to the car with my 3-year-old to hose off the frost, and my daughter came out minutes later with her costume back on and jumped in. The second we got to the school gate, she was overjoyed, grinning from ear to ear and enthusiastically joining in with her peers. I'd really like to avoid those big feelings on book day, and I'm looking for tips, please. I certainly feel like resigning as mum and preparing her to get herself ready. I certainly feel like resigning it as mum and preparing her to get herself ready. Or maybe we should have a practice run or run of the complete costume. As an aside, it's not fair to my little one that she just has to amuse herself while my daughter and I battle it out. And I also want to use these opportunities to teach her a better way to go. Thank you. It's very distressing for me too.
Yeah, I thought you could feel that one.
I know that one.
But what do you think?
Got something coming up.
Yeah, so how are you going to...
I loved what they talked about rehearsing, like to what extent and whatever capacity the parents got to go and do it, setting up 100%. I like that personally.
So what do you do? Not completely dysregulated, but one of the girls is getting a bit irritable about something, feeling the pressure. They're trying to do it perfectly. They're getting annoyed and going, "Stop it, Dad," or "You're making it worse," or what do you do?
Because this happens, I try not to overlabel the feeling they're getting, but I'll sort of talk to them about the feeling. I'll say, "Are you angry, upset? What are you worried about?" And then how bad do you think it'll, and what happens if that does go wrong? And then try and unpack it with them a little bit.
Yeah.
So I look terrible. I go, "You're worried about that?" And they go, "Yeah, of course I'm worried about that," sort of thing. I'm like, well, it's like that performance thing we talked about. I can't remember what it is, where you go like, "Oh, that'll be bad," but how bad will it actually be?
Yeah. What's an alternative and stuff like that. So I don't have that high level an approach to it, but I just did it tonight, and I've been doing it all week actually, and failing at it most of the time. The trick is not to fall in the trap of a battle, and I often fall into the trap of a battle.
You want to be on their side.
Yeah, so tonight Evie was just started escalating a bit because she didn't want to eat her dinner. She's just going through this real phase of choosing stuff and then not eating it. You know what I mean? And Charlie's just hoeing into anything next time. And we've made whatever Evie wants, and she's like, "Nah, I don't want it." And pushing, she starts pushing it away. And Annalise is really good, but I think this is one of the few moments where I can shine a little bit, where I just lean into her a bit, and I'm 100% calm, not all the time, but just tonight, 100% calm, and I'm like, hey, we can do this. And I lean into her, and if she shows me that that's okay, she often comes and then sits on my lap, and then she'll often eat the food together. But it's really important. My goal is not for her to finish the meal, my goal is for us to be doing something together, combining our powers. Let's just have a little bit. And even if she won't eat anymore, I still want it to be a positive experience because I want her to see it felt better. Things became calm. The stress came out of the moment because I connected with Dad, because I engaged with him, because he engaged with me and all that stuff. And then what I find is over time, whether it's brushing teeth, reading a book at bed, brushing her hair, like I talked about this ages ago, that's kicked up again when she's really struggling. And Annalise is amazing, but she gets really distressed about it because it just hurts her and she's, you know. But I literally just get in the bath with her and she brushes my hair first and I do it really, really slowly. Like it takes us ages, but my goal, and Annalise, you know, was a bit frustrated because I said I'd done it and I only did half her hair because I realised where her limit was. And I was like, I care more about me brushing your hair being a positive experience than I do getting every knot out of your head in this one time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's my goal, is like make the goal small enough that we'll succeed and you'll feel like you've succeeded in us doing this together. You had one bite, we got half the knots out, whatever. I don't push through and battle her to finish the meal, get every knot out, whatever. My goal is that we did well together. I stuff it up most of the time. I don't want to sound patronising, but
Yeah. It's really good. Far out. Need another cheat sheet. I really like that. Just
Mate.
like one mouthful, half the knots out.
whatever it takes for us both to feel good about us coming together
Just
and combining
drop
powers on this.
Drop the...
That's it. The smallest step necessary to step forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't feel bad. The amount of people that say they sigh along with you, the amount of people that were like, I reckon, I'm not kidding, over 100 people would have said this episode came at the right time. The start of their life. I was like,
I'm writing notes
I
now.
feel like we could have written this. We could have done this episode any time, and 100 people would have said this is the perfect time. But it literally is the perfect time for me. I've never had a week of such big emotions since Yvette's been born. This podcast is brought to you by Guiding Growing Minds, a social enterprise that aims to give all children the best opportunity to reach their potential and succeed in living rich and meaningful lives.